Life is only as good as your thoughts, brothers, because everything you think is creating your reality. It's making it come true. That's why it's very valuable of what you tell yourself. That's why it's very important about what you consume. That's why it's very important about what you think, because your thoughts is creating your reality. If you have negative thoughts, you can be creating a negative reality. If you have positive thoughts, you can be creating a positive reality, bro. It starts in the mind. Life is what you think it to be because your thoughts are real. Your thoughts have a frequency and it shows on the outside. Whatever you can tell how somebody think by the way they look, by the way they act, by what they consume, by the type of people they hang around, by what they believe. You can see exactly how they think just by looking at them because your thoughts create reality. So you're only as good as your thoughts. So you got to be aware about how you feel, how you think, what you consume. It's very important, bro. See, in this world, man, I learned like it take a little finessing in this game to get to where we want to go. It's not about just doing things, step by step, which is very important, but it takes a little finessing. It takes a little bit of mind fucking. It takes a little bit of mental manipulation, energy manipulation to get through your current position. If you don't like where you at, it takes mental manipulation to get to a position that you want to be in. So in a sense, you have to lie to yourself in a way, like you have to be delusional to make your position better, to get out of that funk, to get out of that rut, to get out of that job, to get out of that, your financial crisis. You have to sort of manipulate yourself, your energy to tell yourself it's going to be all right, that we're in a good position right now. Because what you think will show. And that's why it's very important to be aware of what frequency you're in. The type of stuff you watch, the people you hang around. Just pay attention to your environment. It's a frequency that come off of it. Just pay attention. I dare you, just pay attention. Walk in the room and just pay attention to how you feel. And you'll notice that it's an energy that comes off of everything that you interact with. It's a frequency. That's why I don't associate with negative people all the time. Because when I talk to them, it's a frequency that comes off of their energy. And like my boy Soul Immortal said, the pendulum swings. 50% of their world becomes 50% of your world. I don't care who you interact with. 50% of their world becomes 50% of your world. That's why when you talk to somebody who got negative energy and got this doom and gloom and everything is always terrible and they always got something to complain about, you feel tired. Your energy go from upbeat to it's just like, here we go. You was ready to go. You was ready to attack the day, and then you talk to them. Now you feel drained. Because of their frequency, enter your frequency. That's why you got to be aware of what you're telling yourself. That's why you got to be aware of what you think, because what you think is your reality and it will show. Like I said, take a little finesse. Even if you're in the worst position right now, it takes a little finesse to get up out of there, because you can't be in that state of mind. You can't be homeless. For instance, you can't be homeless and be like, my life is over. It's over from here. I failed. I'm miserable. I'm not going to make it out. I'm not going to do this, because you won't. You won't make it out. You got to be homeless with a mindset of, okay, I'm about to do better. I'm about to get my money up. I'm about to get me an apartment. I'm about to do this and that. And then it starts to come into fruition, because that's how the mind works. That's how the mind operates. The mind leads the body. The body follows the mind. So whatever you're feeding the mind will come out of the body. So you got to be careful about what you say. You got to be careful about what you think, bro. I'm telling you. Because your mental health is everything. It controls everything. Like the video I made the other day. When you lose your mind, the body falls. Because your mind controls your whole existence. Your beliefs, your thoughts, your thinking patterns. Everything starts inside of the mind. And if you don't get control over it, and if you don't manipulate it, you will be stuck in your current position. You will live in doom and gloom. But once you get full control of your mind, you don't live by society's expectations. I don't live by what the government's doing. I don't live about how much gas we paying. I just don't live in doom and gloom. I just live my life. Regardless of what goes on in the world, I'm just going to live my life. I can't control what Trump doing. I can't control what's going on over there in Iran. I can't control the gas prices. All I can do is continue to live and keep thriving. Because I am what I think. And I only let positive thoughts in. I'm not perfect. I have my days. I'm human. But I know how to get out of that rut. And I can pinpoint on what started that way of thinking. What thought that I allowed in my mind to dictate the way I think. Because that's really what it is, brothers. It's the way you think. It's the way you think that got you overweight. It's the way you think that keep messing up your finances. It's the way you think that keep you in a toxic relationship. It's the way you think that keep you in a job you've been in and you still haven't got paid what you think you should be getting paid. It's the way you think why you haven't achieved your goal. It's the way you think. Manipulate your thoughts. Manipulate your energy. And then you can create your reality. Because your life is only as good as your thoughts. So you got to be aware of what you tell yourself, what you think, how you feel. You got to be aware of all of it. But it's real simple. You must tap into that frequency. See, when we get in that frequency of growing and being motivated and being ready to, succeed and thrive and create and build something comes in and throw our frequency off. And now we lost the frequency. We lost the drive. We lost the sense of urgency. But you have to master how to stay in that frequency of all times. Like you have to put yourself in this bubble to where, it can rain, sleet, snow, whatever, but it doesn't affect you because you're still in that frequency. Because it's all about how you think. So you got to be aware of how you think because your thoughts are creating your reality, brothers. So if you think life is doom and gloom, well, guess what? Your life will be doom and gloom. So change the way you think and you will change your life. I just thought I should touch on that message, man. I'm about to get out here and get on the grind. I'll chop it up with y'all later. Peace.